Hi, friends. Is anybody out there yet? Well, for those watching on replay, I know that we're expecting some friends pretty soon. And Lisa is delayed today. She's at a birthday party, and I told her to have fun, and I'm just going to try to keep up with chat. This is live, but it will be on replay. This is part 2 of our Shipwreck bottle. And I am going to show you, this is the original one, and I'm going to show you where I'm at with this. But let me say welcome and thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. If you could give a thumbs up, that would be amazing. And I will get started pretty quick here. Hey, Charmaine. It's just you and me so far. Oh, I'm so glad you made it. That really makes me happy. Lisa's not here right now, so I'm going to keep up with chat by myself. I've got my phone in front of me with the chat, so if you want to say anything to me, anyone, hey, Maya, hello. Anybody that wants to say anything, remember, put it in all caps because I'm all by myself. Hey, Julie. We're so glad you're missing some sleep to hang out with us today, Julie. Isn't it late there? Pretty late. Or very early. One or the other. I suppose it goes either way. Candle at both ends and all. So we're going to do our last stream on the bottle. But I will continue to fiddle with it. Hey, Mo. You made it back. I'm so glad you're here. It's 8 a.m. for Julie. Oh, okay. Well, this earlier Saturday for me has made it easier for you, huh? So I'm going to show you where I'm at with the bottle, but first I want to tell you when I made this one, I have a funny little story. When I made this one, I actually, because it was for my husband and it was a frame, this hangs on there, for our 5th anniversary, hence the 5. I actually had bought a craft lot, and this was this was 4 years ago. So I bought this craft lot, and I had never played with embossing powder. I was so excited about this embossing powder. I did not know at first. I mean, it just sat in the box. I didn't know what to do with it. I had no idea. I didn't know if I would ever use it or whatever. And then one day when I finally got a heat tool, I sat down and made some puddles, and it was this embossing powder right here. You guys don't mind. I mean, I'm so, oh gosh, my hands are really bad right now. I have a rare form of psoriasis, and I'm really sorry. Anyway, this embossing powder is extra chunky is what it is. And I made some little puddles, and I ended up using it on the bottle, and I ordered this blue. So some of this is actually on here is embossing powder. I didn't know how to use it. I didn't really care. I look at a color and a medium, as a color or a medium, and don't necessarily use it the way it was supposed to be used. So, I mean, this bottle is really solid, and a lot of this is that gold embossing powder or the turquoise. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, there's paint, there's rust. So I also want to say, have we had anybody else join us? Oh, okay. So I am keeping an eye on that. I'm trying at least. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to tell you, when I do a project like this, I actually do a color story board. So if I get a new stencil, I might have a piece of chipboard, this is Christmas box, and I will use some texture paste and go out and, and then I'll have these blanks, right? So unpainted, they just sit on my texture card. They're standing up. And when I do a project, if I'm not sure how I want to go with the colors when I'm mixing my media, I will start with hey, Jamie, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I will start with a color story if I don't know where I want to go with it. So I'll grab one of these boards and I will put gesso on it, and then I will just go to town mixing different mediums. And this is really a lot of different mediums. Everything from sprays to some homemade sprays. There's some rusty water. I tried some iron oxide. There's, a lot of dry brushing, and even I got if Lexi makes it, I had borrowed some paints that she bought. She didn't want to pack them in her suitcase, and they were at the retreat, and I borrowed them, and I'll be taking those back. But I even, for the first time, finally pulled those out because I wanted to play with them and try them and see if I wanted the dragonfly glazes. So I even tried that. There's some wax on here. So I just took the little different sections and went at it. You know, I have a sponge, I have some paint on a palette. I did, do I want to dab? Do I want to, you know, so this is how we learn to get from A to B if we play and practice and experiment. And that's how I have all the projects that, hey, Sarah, welcome. That's where you find all the, you know, crazy projects and mixed media assemblages that I do. It's because, uh-oh, did I lose everyone? Oh no, am I still there? Okay, I lost the chat for a minute. But that's how I end up with the knowledge that I have of how the different mediums work and, you know, kind of where I want to go with them. And when I'm done with this, I can, you know, stencil on some of it, or, you know, because I didn't put texture paste on all of it, but I can go ahead and cut it up and make ATCs or use it in another project, you know, maybe make a frame out of it or a sign or whatever. This was another one that I did, and this was the first one. And these are just pieces of heavy chipboard. And I kind of wanted a different look this time than this. So just slightly different. I don't want it to look exactly the same, and you can choose your color story. That's the point. Use the mediums that you have, see how they work. And I'm going to have like a super tip here in a second. But this was kind of the first ones that I did, and they were blanks that I put black gesso on because my bottle has black gesso. And I kind of, you know, tried different things like the iron oxide sprays because they have that white film. But these are going to be fun to play with after. And, you know, I decided to go kind of a different route. So that's that. That makes sense, everyone? I hope so. But that's kind of how I go crazy with mixed media. Okay, super tip coming up. One of the things with the embossing powder, I had also got this, and it's a really ugly, it was either their party mix or somebody tried to mix some colors together, and it's like a yellow and a red. So it was time to use that because I'm probably going to paint over it. But look, it looks like sand. Oh my goodness. It looks like sand. So I might, there's going to be 2 more steps left for our bottle, or 3. And that will be getting our base colors on it. And then if you want to add things like shells or anything like pearls, maybe jewels that have their natural look that you don't paint, that'll be a last step, kind of going through and deciding which I may on these hard edges add some jewels or pearls or shells or whatever. Do have a little cup of shells here, and I'll have some jewels next to me. So we'll see where we're going with that. Now, the rope, I really wanted to, hey, Lexi, I was just talking about you, about the dragonfly glazes that I borrowed to see if I wanted to buy some. That'll be going back to the retreat next year that we have. So guys, stay tuned, and we'll have more information on that if anybody wants to fly to Washington and have a fun sort of event where we all teach a class, and, you know, all the people that sign up for that, and that sign up to teach class, sorry. But it was so much fun this last year, and it was nice to connect with our community, and it was just a blast. So it's okay if you're late. Julie says, while I was looking through my things to gather for a project, I got out AM and tried to tear apart and discovered that it looks like paper. Oh, tear-proof. I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that at all. So anyway, this looks like sand, and what I did, super tip, I used glue. So every glue is not created equal. Some glues bubble nicely for a project like this, and a lot of what you see on this one is not only embossing powder, but I used glue and I let it bubble. So it's got that molten sort of, or like it's been dug up from the seabed sort of look, with all the little life and sand and everything that's involved. So this one is really coming along, and I don't hate the color now. I've never enjoyed that and didn't know why it was mixed together like that, but it kind of looks like sand. So I'm going to do some dry brushing on this and some sponging, and I was going to experiment or show you how to do this because I need to put a little bit more up here, but without Lisa here, I don't think I want to turn on the heat gun. So that is that. Hey, Belinda, welcome. So I want to tell you, you can use so many different things. Some of what you're seeing on this bottle is now these things that come in the little pack when you get a purse. Look at that. It's those. And by the way, I spilled these on my desk and it was dreadful. It's right on my desk. Hey, Becky. Oh, you're sick. Well, I'm so glad you're here. This is a good thing to do when you're sick then. Yes, you lurk away and inject whenever you feel like it. So what I want to do is start painting, and then when I get my paint done, I'm going to go in and, you know, after I feel like my color story is finished, I'm going to go in and I will touch up like the barnacles. I'm going to make them look like proper barnacles. And look at this, guys. Can you see? You maybe can't because it's black, but I ended up figuring out a better barnacle in all of it, you know, like, because these ones kind of look like donuts or little alien orifices. These ones do. They were the first ones I did, but I figured out a different way to do them, and they look real actually. And I'm not a clay master by any means. I'm a better carver than I am a clay master, but I'm more good with reduction sculpture than addition actually. Anyway, let's get to painting, shall we? Did I say everything I needed to say? No, I'm kind of going for a look where like maybe this was on a pirate ship and this was his bejeweled bottle and like his jug and his captain's quarters or his, you know, pirate quarters, whatever they're called. And so I'm going to have some different metals on here. I'm going to have some moss. That was why I went with the green, because I was thinking if this was underwater for a long time, it might have some green, and that's just the first coat on it. And then it might get some embossing powder as well as a texture. So I'm not going to work on the neck. I'm going to work on this part for you. And how many of you, Barbara, hello. I'm here by myself today, so I will try to keep up with chat. Just make sure we all put it in caps if you have a question, okay? So I'm going to try to do the bottle laying down like this. And I'm going to get out some colors and have a little play. Like I said, I was going to do the embossing powder and show you. I just kind of drew on there with the glue. You can try different kinds of glue. Different ones will bubble differently, which is really fun. But let's get some color on this and bring it to life. This is my favorite part, by the way, where all the shapes and stuff that we've used sort of come together and stand out. And you can see them. It is fun. You're going to want stiffer brushes for these. That's my glue brush. So stiff brushes. These are all a little damp because I've been playing with it, you know, but usually it's those ones that you don't use very often, or your stencil brushes that are going to be nice and stiff. I tend to go for a soft brush with most things, but that's what my stiff ones are for. Kind of a bristly brush. And I'm going to start with kind of a bigger one, and we're going to start bringing this to life. Now it's going to have layer upon layer upon layer. So, don't be scared of your layers, you know, fiddle with it until you feel like it is alive, you know? Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. I really appreciate that so much. I really do. Okay, so I have a lid here that I'm going to use as a palette, and I do have some white left on it, but the first thing I think I want to do, because remember, it's going to get a few layers, is go for a little more of the green. And I have some really thick green here that I made like last year, and it's almost dried up. It might be actually. And what I want to do is get some of that thicker paint kind of pressed in here and there. And green as in algae. That's kind of what I'm thinking. like algae's growing on things, the algae and barnacles, and I haven't painted that yet. It needs a black. Remember those ugly beads, guys? Those star-shaped beads right there? That's what that is, and I glued it on today, so it'll get some paint on it. So just gonna go over this. Now the whole thing is not gonna be green. Remember, I'm gonna do many layers. So just bringing it to life. So how's everybody doing out there? What have you been up to? Oh, a map, Julie. I see. Ask the chat. What? I'm missing something. So this is really thick because I made it so long ago. And I'm going to go in at the end and paint the barnacles properly, I think. I think they're going to get like a coat of brown and probably some white dry brushed over them, like an oyster color or cream color, like a barnacle would be. But it's okay to have a little moss inside those barnacles. Maybe I'll dry brush this one really good so you can see how that turned out right there. I cannot believe how good they turned out. I just used a tool and kind of made them cave or volcano shaped a little bit. So who's doing a bottle? Raise your hand. I want to see. So this side I did symmetrically, and I'm kind of kicking myself because the other side isn't symmetrical. It's not usually my style, but I thought I would, you know, you can't see both sides at the same time, and I couldn't leave it blank, which is fine. But then, you know, I have all the barnacles, so I just had to have something there. So I have this ship on a resin coin because I have that mold and I made that. And my bottle has a note to myself in it. If you remember, we did that. So I actually am leaving the bottom blank so I can see it. And I'll take some sandpaper and go around those little edges right there. But I can see my note inside. Do you see that? Anyway, so one more side here, and then probably a little bit on the neck before that paint dries out. So I know I have a little bit of that color there. Look at it picking up the, the onion bag. I went in, and when I took a heat gun to it before I put the embossing powder on, I think it was like after our stream last time, I went in and let it melt in some places, which was pretty cool. And so it opened up, and it's not, let me see if I can show you, like it's melted right here, and it created a texture. And what happens in the end with all of this is anybody that sees it will want to lean in and look at it and touch it and see what that texture is. Like, how did she do that? That's my favorite kind of art. Okay, I'm going to do that. Let's clean this brush. Having it dry is really important, so I'm actually cleaning these right away and wiping them on a towel. And then I won't use this one until it's dry. So kind of getting it good and clean. Maya, you're moving to Portland? Maya, I'm 2 hours away, you know, as you know, because you've been here. Maya was at the last retreat. So I'm going to set that over there so I don't grab it again. So just bringing it to life a little bit at a time here. I'm going to get some black gesso on that because it kind of looks like a starfish. I thought that was pretty cool. And I might dab some black gesso on some of the sandy bits because I can go back in with glue and add more. I want to see how it looks, actually. So I'm going to use just a stencil brush here and get some color on that. And so this is the one I will do the embossed texture and see how it looks. I don't know what they were thinking when they mixed that together. It's like a cherry red and a pastel yellow. It's not cool. I I thought I would never use it, and I just, you know, had it in there still. But this turned out to be a perfect way to do that. So anything else I want to put black on? Maybe here. Maybe. And I do have some shells on here already, but not very many because I wanted to add some at the end. Kind of like the sea was trying to claim it, you know. Clean that really good. I'm going to stop and read some comments. Hey, Miriam. Lexi, you're not doing a bottle? Oh, yeah. You guys can do this with the textured hearts for sure. I mean, those are a great way to practice these techniques. So, you know, don't be afraid to glue things to your hearts. And if you make the heart garland that we did on Valentine's Day, if anybody missed that, it was a lot of fun. And it's a great way to practice different textures, different color stories, different mediums, mixing things together that you'd maybe not mixed together before, because sometimes the results are quite surprising. And that's the ones that people look at and say, how did you do that? And I find that to be the best compliment. When I was in college, I kept my hair in a really sharp page boy bob with really sharp bangs, and my hair is red, and it was bright red at that time. And because I added stuff to it. Hey, Tracy. So I had somebody come up to me at a party once and tell me my hair looked like a wig because it was perfect. I mean, I always had it styled perfectly. I mean, it curled under it. I had really severe straight bangs. And I found that to be a compliment. I don't know why. That always stuck with me, like, wow, that was a cool compliment, you know, like your hair looks like a wig. But it's kind of the same where, you know, people lean in and wonder how you did that. And it's kind of I don't know why that relates, but I feel like it does, you know, like, oh, that looks like it's off the sea floor, or, you know, it doesn't have to look like that, but you know, just creating something unique and special and making people wonder how you did it, you know, it's kind of funny. Oh, yeah, Lexi, I hear you about whittling down projects. I hope you're going to do the next one we're doing. I really hope so. Okay, so I want to add some more layers to this, but I won't do the embossing powder on this part until later. I do need more on here because right now it just looks like green paint, and it really needs to look like algae and like the sea has claimed it. So it needs to be not one color, different colors, you know? So I think I'm going to go with some, what color should I put on there? I want it to look like, you know, wet cord, basically. I think it needs some brown, actually, and maybe even more of that cream color. So let's see it. I'm going to go with this one that I had mixed up long ago. Oh, yes. Yes, Lexi, the circus book. That's right. So that will be, and then I think I'm going to use a little bit of this green too, if it's not all dried up. It's an old bottle. No, it's fine. And a very crispy brush. Here's another one I have right here, because it's so you want a stiffer brush to get in the little textures there. So, and I do have a little white on my palette here as well, so that's too brown. More green. So I hope that this was a learning experience for those of you who are kind of afraid of these kind of projects, and, you know, just try new things. Give it a shot. You can do this on a jewelry box. You could do it on a frame. You could do it on anything you want, but the bottle is a good way to go because generally It's something that was for the recycling and you're not worried about messing it up. And it's a lot of fun. When you're done, the satisfaction is amazing with it. I mean, I feel so satisfied looking at these projects. They make me happy and they make me feel proud. So I hope that some of you that haven't started one of these yet will give it a shot because it is so much fun. Now, the next thing, I'm going to go ahead and I've got some stuff on my brush here. I'm going to just add some more colors in, just where I'm at. And grab a little bit more because, you know, having the color story means a lot of different colors for me. That wonder how she did that sort of stuff. I love how this almost looks like coral, and you could create something that looks like coral that way. Yeah, anybody that doesn't know about the project we're doing next, we're going to do some gel printing this next month first and create some pages for it, some specialty pages. But we'll be making it so when it opens up, it's in the shape of a circus tent, and it won't be cutesy, in my opinion. It's going to be, not mine at least. It's going to have like a darker tone, like an old traveling show, like the snake oil salesman and the fortune teller and the, you know, I just thought it would be fun to make a circus shaped project. It sounds like a blast to me. I like a good project, a theme, and I wouldn't normally go for circus, but yeah, I can do a dark one, a dark twist. Hey, Marguerite. I'm glad you made it. So I'm just so now I think I want to get my sponge out and start putting some other colors on here. I've got to decide which ones. So I've got some of that going. Oh, I can't forget my lid. Should do that at the same time while I have this. So you see, I put a chess piece on there. I've got a foam ball. I've got tape over it, and then paper. And then I actually took this glossy accents and made some little spirals around it, which was fun. Ooh, look at that. That's nice. So just algae and the sea claiming it. So now I think I need copper, actually. That sounds good. Are you auditioning for parts? I could be a bearded lady right now. That's funny. I was actually thinking what a funny costume it would be at Halloween to do a bearded lady. I've never seen one. I usually try to come up with unique ideas, though we haven't been doing that since COVID. We used to go and win every year, but then we stopped going anywhere, you know. Okay, so I need copper now. So while this one was more rust and copper and patina, this one will be too, but it will have a lot more green on it. So I'm, you know, adding the addition of algae and more and shells, things like that. So it's going to be slightly different. You know, you could totally bejewel your bottle at the end. That would be fun. There's just lots of ways to do it. Miriam. Oh, yeah, the stencils. That would be amazing. They are really good for that. I think that's wonderful. I actually have this that I may use for the cover. Hold on. So I got this from Temu last Christmas, and I was thinking it would be cool for something like that. And it's on like almost canvas. It's a fabric, but wouldn't she make a cool cover or a page or something? And I think it was like $2. So totally worth it. The pearl line. Yeah, I'm going to add pearls, Miriam. I am. At the end, I will add some shells and some little seed pearls, things that, you know, that would have claimed it over time. So let's get the copper out. Now, I'm not sure if I want to use copper paint here. I've got this copper. I've got the Nuvo mousse, which usually at the end of a project, I do hit it up with a little bit of wax, you know, like gold wax or Nuvo mousse. Those are so great to bring out the details. But this is water soluble. So the more I add to it, the more this might disappear. I'm not really sure. So we'll hold off on that for a second. Oh, I have this, the iridescent bronze. That might be really nice, actually, but it's very liquidy. The thicker your paint is, the better it will dry brush on. So I can play with this and see what I can do. And it may have to go on with my finger if it's too thin. That is always a good way to handle that. Can we cut a journal in two and tell was the magician? Cut a journal in two. Oh, are you being a magician? Is that what you're saying? That's funny. Okay, so I've got these out, and then I have this little bin of metallic paints because I keep them separated. Let me look through them real quick here and see if there's one. I think my dark one is pretty well gone. The one that I would lean towards here, but let me look. Let me get the whole bin out here. Got these metallics. There's a green, but I don't really want green. Ugh. I don't know where that pink came from. I think it came in a lot or something. There's some silver. Yeah, I don't have the dark one. I ordered it a couple times and they kept sending me a color I had. So at Walmart. So maybe I will go with those that I already have out. That's fine. Oh, I do have this. This is a nice thick paint. And that is the Got a Deal. So I think I'm going to do these two for now. See, we're mixing mediums all over the place. This one's thick, so this can probably go on with the brush. Oh. Yeah, I need an assistant too. I'm going to have to keep an eye on my phone because if Lisa shows up, I need to let her in. So does anybody have any questions about the process so far? Because anybody can do this. You just have to start adding layers. Add layer, add layer, add layer. Add mediums, add, you know, kind of put it in a paper bag and shake it up and throw it at your project. And you'll end up with something that has a lot of textural interest. So, okay, so I've got my brown out there. I think I'm gonna try to use a sponge. But yeah, let me see here because this brown is so thick. Let's see what happens here. Just a little bit here and there, not all over. Sort of, it's very glittery almost, and I'm not really. Glitter is not really the look I'm going for here, but fingers in. You know me, guys. Fingers in. There we go. I think the sponge made it look glittery because it was going on kind of more randomly. It's not really a glittery paint. It is one of my favorites, though. And if they still have it, I highly recommend this Pearl Deep Brown. I got a deal on Amazon, and it was like $7. I mean, it won't stand up. There we go. So here and there. These ones are going to get a different look, like Sea Life, but I could actually paint those brown because I'm going to be putting white over those. So that's a possibility. You guys know I got to use my fingers. It's a good day when my hands look like this. Looks like a rock, not a sponge. Well. This is probably 25 years old. I wash it all the time. I use it, you know, it was when I was in art school. I got like a whole set of them. I still have some brushes from them, from that time period as well. But you know, I'm a supply hoarder. So these could be painted brown before they are painted white. Like I said, I'm a foot in the zone and a foot watching chat, guys. Forgive me. All right. Let's bring these guys to life. Just a little here and a little here. Well, that's fun. I ended up putting resin pieces on here that I had. You don't have to have that. I have some metal tins that I throw little bits of Whoozy What's It's in like all the time. And I mean, it'll have anything in it from plastic coins to shells, beads. You can use seed beads. These are those silica gel beads from, you know, when you buy new shoes or a purse. You know, I had sprinkled on and just put it over some good glue. I hope this is fun to watch. I'm not sure. Watching me finger paint. Okay, now I'm going to go in with a little bit of the iridescent bronze, and this is highly pigmented, which is awesome. I will do the wax last to hit up any spots that I feel like needed it, but I probably need to finger paint this on as well so I can just touch the textury bits because it's so thin. It's a very thin paint, but watch that come to life. Look at that. Just love this part. Oh, put my finger in the wrong puddle. Not that one. Which is fine. No big deal. Love it. I'll probably put jewels in the eyes of the skull. Like some rubies or something, or even pearls. Maybe pearls and shells on it, and then just 2 rubies right there, like the only red on the bottle. Wouldn't that be fun? Oh, yeah, I need to organize my studio. I really, you know, I was sick and I really want to flip my studio. I want to put I've got my rooms separated in half, and I did it again with that other paint. Really want to put my desk on the other side and like flip my shelves around and move things from one side to the other. Because on the other side of the room, I have a sewing table. I have assemblage. I have a shelf filled with bins and antique suitcases with assemblage stuff in them. And I have like fabric and things like that over there. But it's that's the larger half. And it's not like I can move my desk back because of the way the room is shaped. This is the only spot where my desk can jut out. But there's an L-shaped table on the other side of my desk, and my shelf is up in the middle. And oh my goodness, look at that. It looks great on camera. I hope you guys are seeing what I'm seeing there. Oh, I love it. I really do. But the L-shaped desk is larger than my desk here, and they're back to back. My room is long and skinny, and it's attic, and every wall I have is sloped. Everyone, because of the way the house is shaped and this room is shaped. So, yeah. So I want to go to the other side because it's larger, but that means I have to move and swap everything out. And I know it's going to take me a minute. Okay, I'm going to get my little stiff brush here. Hope it's dry. and pick up some of this gold and get down in areas like that. Oh, I love it. That's why this is my favorite step, guys. It's just bringing out all that texture and highlighting things, and so fun. The stiff brush is to really get down in there, you know. Little cracks and crevices. I think we'll paint a barnacle next and see how it looks. I know it's going to get a couple more colors on top here and there. His eyes are, there we go. And I do want to make like some of this is made of metal. It doesn't have to look realistic though. I mean, it doesn't have to look like a real thing, just a fun color story. All right, so getting in all the little grooves. Oh, that definitely needs help. All right. Look at that come to life. So fun. You can see the texture from the tissue paper that we put on first. Does anyone else buy something and when they put it away, there's already one there? Oh, yes. I think we all do that because we can't find anything. Every supply is so useful, especially if you do stuff like this. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that would make a great whoozy what's it later. So I end up with, you know, suitcases full of whoozy what's it's that I'm always digging through. But I need a better system so I can quit losing things, you know. I mean, the room is organized. It's just, it's full and my walls are short and it's a mess. And I just feel like it's a mess because I have, you know, this project and that project, and that's the same thing you guys all go through, I'm sure. I'm just using up this gold. Oh, better do the lid. Where's my lid? Oh, I'm just really, really happy with this. Let's pick up some texture there. Just gently. Don't get a lot of paint on your brush for dry brushing. If you've not done this, that is the key, really, and that's where your finger is super helpful as well. I did missed some here. They have ships on them and I love them. They're like pirate coins. And I know this isn't my final coat, so I'm not concerned if I do miss anything that I feel like needs. There's a piece where that that net is melted and it looks cool, by the way. Just dry brush, dry brush. Okay, the lid. Let's get that. Do I have any paint left here? Yeah, it sure dries fast. Oh, look at that. It's so fun. I might need a little more paint out. So anybody have any grand plans for the weekend? Anything fun going on? Too much paint on my brush. There we go. Oh, texture. How I love the... I think we're going to have to go for a walk tomorrow somewhere. Not sure where. Not a long one. Probably go to the... I don't know. He'll want to go to the ocean or something, but I'll probably talk him into just going to that park in town that has the old buildings where they had the foundry. We found out a little secret about that. Bill read an article, and apparently there's tunnels under the town, which most old cities have around here, and I'm not surprised. But they are not completely excavated, and how cool it would be to be involved in another underground city tour company again. I did that and I really loved it. It's so fun to go exploring down in those caves. But apparently that cave or those tunnels go all the way under the train tracks to that foundry because the businessmen in town would enter the tunnels to walk all the way over to downtown, which is about 2 blocks from there, 3 blocks from there, and go to the whorehouses. Yes. So there was a place like that in Pendleton that I worked, that I volunteered at. That was really fun. It was for charity. Most of the money went to domestic violence. When I stopped taking the crisis calls, that was a good way for me to get involved. So this one is too washed out for me. Do you see that? It has gone bronze on me. It does look bronze. I mean, I love that. So now this bronze, it says to me that I didn't have that color of paint I was looking for, but I mean, it looks like bronze. So now it could use a bronze patina on it. And it's still not going to be this color because this one's more orange. And I could go more green with the patina that way. So, you know, a little more green. It's kind of wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. Yeah. Let's see. Does anyone, I read that. Your weekend ended today. Yeah. Across the world there, Miriam. Stamps or stencils, and that gives extra one to a friend here in Sydney. She has developed an interest in mixed media to add to cards she makes. Oh, that's great. That's really great. Hey, I also have the spare room that I have all my sales stuff in because I used to do sales online. And it's not, I mean, it's de-stash stuff, but it's not really de-stash stuff. It's stuff that I purchased to create kits and stuff for art and junk journaling and, you know, art journal, sewing, linen, things like that. I have a whole room full of that stuff it's all organized, but, old sewing kits, things like that. And I have been considering having an online sale, just kind of an event, like just a 1 weekend event. And everyone will get an invitation when I do that. It's just a lot of work and it's something I've been needing to do for a while, but you know, a lot of work. And don't be afraid to go back in and add more bubbled glue, more embossing powder, more, you know, fiddle with it until you like it, until it makes you happy. Oh, you're crocheting. I'm glad I didn't take that hobby up because I would have too many hobbies. Honestly, I would love to do it, but I'm kind of glad I never learned because it would be one more thing that I was trying to make time for, you know. So I'm really liking where this is going. And I think the black gesso was a great choice for this instead of the white to give it a different look and start with a different base. What do you guys think so far? Look at that. Oh, I love it. I really do. It's so much fun. Can you guys see all the detail there? Oh, it's so much fun. I probably will touch a few things with some rust. I had questioned whether this project would be we'd be able to do it in 2 streams. And I'm really shocked that we've done it. You know, I'm really shocked. Thank you, ladies. Oh, where'd my towel go? Hold on. Okay, got a towel on my lap here. All right, so next I'm really liking it the way it is, but I feel like it needs just a little bit more. And it's, you know, maybe I'll do the barnacles next because, you know, I fiddle with something until it screams at me that it's finished, you know? Well, I think my husband just burst in. So maybe I will start with those or right here and see how we look. So I'm going to put that there. Oh, bye, honey. Come here. Say hello.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Have fun.
Well,
Chat's awful quiet. I'm surprised. So that's embossing powder right there, and it looks on camera like it's pretty even. And I wonder, it's going to get many layers. I don't like the way that looks right there. It's just too soft, and the edges are too soft, and yeah. But we'll get there when we get there. Okay, so I'm going to do these ones right here. So I'm going to paint them brown first, and I need to get just a regular brown because I want brown down in the edges, you know. So I don't need much brown, just a little. Like this one. Let me grab some here. Oh, I have that. Okay. So I'm going to use this and get down in all those little grooves and stuff. And it's okay if a little black is showing too. But if you think about a barnacle, it's kind of got some, that's a horrible brown. Brown in the edges. I'm going to go with this because it won't show. Okay. Let's take that off. All right. So brown. That needs to dry. I'll go with these ones. Okay. Kind of getting inside. Probably a darker brown would be better, but that's okay. All right. Now I need to dry it before I can use the white. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a little bit of this and see, because these need to dry before I can dry brush over them. That's the point of dry brushing. I'm going to try these ones and see if the color that's already on there is enough and it'll look brown or algae in the end. I've got this sort of beachcomber beige, which is probably the right one for, you know, barnacles and shells and whatever. But I'm going to use my finger here. And remember that, let me do these ones because they're on top for you. Remember that they're not going to be perfect because it's nature. So this one that looks like an alien orifice, I don't like. But let's see. So does it still look black? Are we getting barnacle? Probably need to put a little inside the hole, and I'll have to use a brush for that. Oh, and the shell right here. You can use sand on it. If you don't have embossing powder or any of these little beads from your new shoes, you can use little tiny seed beads. I have used those a lot in the past. There might even be some seed beads on this somewhere. Let me see. Mostly I have drone parts on here and a little bit of jewelry. But, I mean, you can use anything that has a texture and make it look like something else. My barnacles look realistic. Oh, that's great. I've got my face 3 inches from the screen looking at all the cool. Oh, thank you, Lexi. That means a lot. An online sale sounds great. I'm so glad. I really need to clear out that room, and it was intended because on my old channel we were having sort of sales once in a while, and she started having them all the time, and I wasn't really interested in that. I wanted to do art, so you know, that just I stopped doing that. So, oh, that with the brown, it does make a difference. It does. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see that. Do I need to turn my light down? Oh, it's not even. Let's see. Can you guys see the difference with the brown in there? It does look like a barnacle. And I think barnacles have a little bit of, they have some extra color. I'll have to look online on Pinterest, which is a great resource for things like this. It doesn't have to look real though in the end. I mean, it could be purple. Make any color you want. Just make it interesting and make it you. So does it matter? I think it does matter with the brown. I'm pretty sure it does here. I need more white on there. So when I put the pearls on, it's going to kind of, you know, go together. Don't want it to leak off. Okay, there we go. So I love these barnacles. I think this was the last patch I did, and they make me so happy. They're screaming barnacles at me. Huh. So I'm going to get a little brown out and do that again. Let me find a darker brown, though. One that'll dry quickly. And let's see. What if I use one of these? Because they dry so fast. And I have the raw umber. That might be the one. And don't be afraid to change direction either. Or, you know, if you don't like the way it's coming out, just keep going. Just put another layer on. You can't mess it up. It's a bottle that I've recycled with a whole lot of whoozy whatsits, you know? I mean, it's not that special. Practicing on things like this is the best way to go about doing it on more expensive things, like maybe a jewelry box or, you know. So brown, 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 brown. Oh, can you zoom on your phone? Oh, yes, Sarah, I will definitely take some shots of the detail. Sometimes things like this are hard to pick up on camera. They're not the same as they are in person. And that happens with like the heart garland that I just made. It does not show the detail on camera like I wish it would. It just, you know, it's touchable detail, and it's so much better in person, things like that. I think you guys know what I mean, though, when you do a project like that. Oh, you dove? You're a diver? Miriam? Really? Well, that's cool. I love being underwater. Oh, yeah. Yeah, white and purple barnacles. That's cool. You know, Tracy, post some pictures of those, because I would love to see different kinds of barnacles. The ones we have here have a brown under, and then they are white on top, and they're mostly white, right? But brown is in all the little crevices. So I'm sure that there are different colored barnacles all over the world, actually. So I'm just going to grab them all while I have this paint out, and it dries fast. So let's see. It's hard to zoom in on the barnacles with all these other great textures. So just getting it in all the cracks. Lexi, you're a clay master, aren't you? I bet you could make some. Remember, these were the barnacles I made first, and they were with paper. You know, like I put glue on paper and curled them up. Anybody that missed that one? Oh, there's a shell right here too. So before I got the clay out, I did these ones to show that you didn't really need the clay, and you can come up with your own. Because all these things kind of get lost in the texture unless you lean in, you don't really know what it is until, you know, I mean, they all just kind of blend together and get lost, and you can have a half-ass barnacle, excuse me. There was no other word for that. If you know, have all this other texture, it doesn't matter. It can be subpar and still come across the way you want if you have all the extra detail. So, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and go back over these because they have the black, and I started with those, and then I'll do the white again. See if I can get in there. Boy, this is fun. I'm glad to be sharing this with you. And if you're here for the first time, I would love it if you would subscribe, hit the bell, join us for future projects, and you can lurk or you can join us and do the project too. It doesn't matter. Everything that we do are projects and techniques you can learn and apply to other projects. So you don't have to be doing what we're doing. That's totally fine. Okay, so I think I got them all in brown. Using a little bit more. These stiff brushes aren't really good for much else, in my opinion. Okay, I got them all. Okay, so now I'm going to wash me up here. Get some paint on my fingers. Go for this. Get that white on there. This is why I paint on my hands all the time. Because I have to, you know, feel my work, apparently. Are you leaving us, Miriam? Oh, hey, Estella. I'm glad you made it. Oh, Lexi, you're just really good at clay as far as I've seen. We'll see you later, Miriam. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, Estella, you're the one. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for popping by. I hope you get to check out how we got from here to there in the first episode. That's what it is, here to there. You guys have to forgive me. I really do have one foot in the zone right now. And sentences are hard when you're doing that. And I am watching for Lisa. Sentences are not hard for Lisa. We tease each other about how gabby we both are. I know we're a gabby duo. Okay, a little more paint on my finger. I could spread that paint out and use a dry brush, but this is much easier and quicker. You don't have to use your fingers, though. Look at those barnacles. My favorite patch of them right here. Now, the paint is mostly dry because I used that other, but I am finding a few little wet spots on this one, which makes it hard for, you know, that dry brushing effect. So I'm being careful. Boy, I love those. They do look like barnacles. Look at that. I'm so excited. I really love them. When I start giggling maniacally at my desk, I know I'm having fun. That is something that I do quite often. If I find my zone, I'm usually spending a little bit of time giggling at my project because I'm loving what's happening. You know, when you get in the zone, I have been looking into this lately, and your pineal gland is in your brain, and when you're in the zone, I think you're activating that. That is the joy. That is the where you go when you meditate. That is where you go when you you know, maybe jog, or you know, when that adrenaline or that your hormones are rushing, and it's like a happy place. And I think that when we get in our zone in art, it is my suspicion that we are activating that same gland that brings us joy and peace, you know. Now, I don't know if anybody's done any research on that specifically, but I know that there are similar things that activate that gland. So I'm guessing that my zone is when that is happening. Oh yeah. Well, Stella, hold on. Let me read up. My hands and fingers are my best. They are our best tool. They really are. Coarse pumice gel and blended fibers texture gel. Oh yeah. You can also make your own texture gel with the sand, with the beads, with the seed beads. I've done seed beads in gel medium many times in the past. But back to, let's see, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Oh, and when we envision, like when you say that, I usually work so intuitively that when I start the project, I have a general idea, but then I let my project change and do what it wants. So I let it tell me what it wants. So it generally is not the same as the idea that I had, that, you know, how I thought it might look in the end, because I let it guide me and just go with the flow. And that's also, I think, really important to finding the zone. When you're in the zone and you're just letting it happen naturally, I think we like our projects more in the end. Like when I'm giggling at my desk, it's a project that I love and I've put my soul into it. Yeah, definitely. Coconut shell fibers cut up small would be good. Yeah, you guys can use make some paper clay, you know, and create some texture with that, you know, like dabbing it on with a brush. The embossing powder, of course, is one of my favorite tools to mix. I just think it's so fun. Okay, so where else do I need more white here? Let's see, as I babble on. Oh, I love these. I love them. These ones, that was the first clay batch. These were the last. You can see my progress as I go along. Okay, I think I'm going to add some, you know, you guys can use hot glue too for shapes and stuff. But if you're going to use a heat tool on anything else at that point, remember that it's going to melt, you know, whatever you've put on in hot glue. So that might be a last step if you do that. I think this needs a little bit more white, but we'll get there when we get there. Okay, so I'm going to do, this doesn't have anything on it. A couple of these are going to be rusty, I think, but that'll be last steps. Oh, I love it. I really do. Oh, I missed some barnacles here. Well, I ran out of paint too. All right, Beachcomber beige. Oh, sandblasting grains in different sizes. Yeah, that'd be great. Oh yeah, we can't misplace our fingers. Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate that. Okay, so I missed these. Too much on my fingers there. Usually when I do the dry brushing and I'll make a puddle and then I'll make a puddle and I'll dab it out to get that smaller amount on my finger so I can dry brush with the finger. Best tool ever. Yeah, that gets more. That gets more. Okay, so I think I'm going to decide here. He was probably, let's say he was originally copper. He's made out of metal. So if he is copper, he's already got that on him, but I want to give it the patina it deserves at this point. So I'm actually going to go with, I've got this one that I made and it's really thick. I'm going to dab some of that on there because it's so thick. And I love old paint. I don't know if you guys have a collection of old paint. You know, we don't use our supplies at the rate that we probably need to. So, you know, save those old paints for things like this because you can use them for texture, or you can even, you know, just paint over them and change the color and they are just a texture at that point. You can mix them with stuff and use them like to spread on with a palette knife, and it becomes kind of like a glue. It's just a great, see how thick? Oh, there's a brush hair right here, but thick, 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 like where the ocean has touched it and given that the patina. Same with his crown. And old paint's great. If you catch it before it dries out, at least. Transfer it into another container sometimes, and you know, one that's going to be airtight for you, so you can get it out with a palette knife, because it's harder with, those are going to need some love with a small brush when I'm done. But it's better with a palette knife if it's, or to be able to get into it, and you can't do that with the regular bottles. So maybe this was copper. Just pushing it on. Oh yeah, nutshells would probably work fine. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where to get coconut hair. There's lots of textures you can use though. You can probably look in your spice cabinet for things that you know, maybe aren't going to deteriorate, or you have to put enough paint or whatever over them to make sure that that doesn't happen. But look in there to see if there's something like peppercorns or whatever, something that's old. Salt works if you have enough. You have to mix it in with a medium, and you have to have enough layers over it to get it to stay, you know, salt grains, instead of melting in moisture or having an animal go at it or whatever. But really, look around and see what you've got. I think seed beads are probably your best choice first, if you've got them. I mean, we all probably have seed beads, but we don't use them because they're a pain and we can't see. So I'm just, you know, copper, copper, copper. And then I'll go back over it with a little bit of, or bronze or whatever, a little bit more of the bronze color. But it's about the layers. It's so thick. I think I have a delivery right now. Sorry about that, guys. And my husband left. He went to play with his friend. Yep, that's what I said. He went to play. Oh, I love it. So when I have that sale, I'll get everything together. I'll do it online here just for you guys. And it'll be cheap, cheap, cheap too, by the way. I have lots of kits made up. I have lots of like linen and things like that, things you can use in future projects. And I'll do a giveaway as well, or a couple giveaways. So, and of course, with me, everybody always gets freebies in their package. I can't help it. That's what I do. So, and I have the whole spare room full of stuff. So, okay. So he's got a little bit much on him, but I'm really liking where that's going there. Oh, coconut for the flower. Okay, I have some of those things. Like the baskets that you can hang, or the liners. I actually got them for like 20 cents a piece at the Dollar General down the road. And I've never bought anything like that in my life. But I saw them and thought, oh, well, you know, I have some plants outside. Maybe they would, I forgot a barnacle. Maybe they would like those. Oh, I can do that right now. Barnacle, barnacle, barnacle. And my sand, my sandy texture with the embossing powder, see how it's just kind of been pushed back and blended in. It's not sticking out like a sore thumb anymore. And I might, you know, add a little bit more back in. You know, I really liked the contrast of that. Or maybe I have a sand color. I would have to look and see. But I thought that was, you know, kind of sandy looking, and it was cool. I mean, it's still there. It's just there's so much detail to look at that it gets kind of lost until you lean in. This one's really standing out still. It does look like sand. Oh, thanks, Lexi. Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? I kind of want to do this to make sure I don't have enough or too much on there. I want some, and it's not all over, you know, it's random. If I can find it on my brush. This is a ship. I want to stand out. Come on. This is hard to do while I'm holding it at an angle. And if you think about where patina happens, it's going to happen on your, it depends on what it is, but usually it'll happen on your interior places first, I believe. So if you question the way patina is created, or like the real process, go to Pinterest and have a look and see, kind of, so you have a reference. Pinterest is a great place for that stuff. And I generally look up real things to have the reference, just so I can see them. You know, maybe these little beads here are, I'm not sure if they're, you know, jewels, or if they're maybe eggs, maybe fish eggs of some sort. Oh, I'm loving it. I love, love, love it. So I'm going to actually go in here and add some more of this in a few little places where I'm going to touch it back up with some bronze. So let's say my shell off to one side is really patinaed. Lexi. That's really funny. Thank you, Lexi. I really wasn't fishing for a compliment. I just read it and didn't know if you were talking to me at first. Well, I think you're brilliant as well. If you're just joining us, I would love a thumbs up and leave a comment. I haven't had a lot of comments lately, and I'm kind of surprised. So even if you've watched, let me know what you think, or let others know what you think. So when they come back in, they see the comments and they know which videos to watch. Kind of gives them a heads up too. So let's say he's got a lot on this side. And maybe there's a lot more right here. I'm doing it sort of asymmetrically because I'm an asymmetrical person. Let's see. Okay, now I'm going to go back over that. I need to wash these brushes so they can start drying. I need them. I need them. Okay, let me wash these brushes real quick. Usually have two, but my clean water is now not clean water because I've been using these. So I've got a really dirty jar on my desk with black water in it, and I've got this one now. I do want them to start drying. I think it's also time. I'm deciding what kind of glue I want to use to put the shells and the pearls on. And that'll be kind of more like a last step. But if I do need to do this so I can keep up with my colors too. The turquoise. I just cleaned the brush too. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, just a little. I love using chess pieces. Did I tell you about when Mom came to town, about the stuff that we found? The pottery chess pieces. I don't know if I did. I think we talked about the stamps last time, and I didn't end up talking about my thrift finds with Mom. Well, I've had a queen that goes with that set that's painted differently. It was, like from a ceramic shop or something. These ones are done with a different glaze, but they're really cool. And I actually used the queen in a project. I don't remember where she's at. She's on one of my mixed media assemblage things. Oh, it's fun. I love it. I love seeing all this texture from the tissue paper that we pushed on and wrinkled up. Hey, Sherry. I'm so glad you made it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So this side needs a lot of work. We're really concentrating on this side right now. So now I want to go in with a little bit of the bronze again. So I think what I might be able to do is mix this bit of brown I have here from the Gottadale to get a nice darker bronze. So I'm going to mix it with some of this. This is the copper that I have that's, because I'm out of the other color. So I'm going to mix those and see what we get. I want to mix them with, what do I want to mix them with here? Palette knife, maybe? My little one. Okay, let's see what we got. When I'm done with this lid, this all peels right off. I have palettes, but these are the ones I seem to reach for, like lids, when I'm doing projects like this. Because I end up with a whole lot of, there's a lot of colors. So I'm kind of dabbing over the turquoise, so only some of it shows, and I can break it up a little bit. Get the edges. Oh, that looks good. Okay. See how I got it all inside there and it's thick? That's how patina should look, I think. That makes my heart happy right there. So wax on, wax off the whole time. That's what we do. Making it work. Just over some of this. It looks corroded and I love it. That patina gets really thick and chunky over time. Especially right there. It's good too. Makes me happy. A little bit right here. Oh, happy, joy, joy. And I may even go back in with another finger paint of the thick turquoise to get into more little crevices and stuff and make it even more corroded. The more layers you put on, I mean, the better it gets, really, with something like this. A little bit of white does not go amiss either, because sometimes that turquoise turns all the way white. All right, so just gonna get this off this one's gonna get a lot more work on this side, but I'm not working on it. I just want to get this off here. That's fine. All right, so this side. Let me see how some shells might look. Oh, can't forget our same time while my paint's out. It's hard to believe that's a styrofoam ball, right, guys? Look at these hands. sandy texture paste would make great crusty texture. And Barbara, I actually used embossing powder on some of it. So, and I could go back in. I do have lots of different colors of copper embossing powder, and even the turquoise. That's what this is right here. And I have, you know, like the lightest color and some darker ones that would be great as a finishing touch. Just, you know, fiddle with it as long as you're happy. As long as you enjoy it, keep going. Really. Okay, so I have shells. Let's look at those. Let's set this up right here. So I'm thinking maybe some pearls, some of these little shells. I just pulled a few out here. Let's see what we got. I have a whole box next to me, but these are the ones I actually picked out. That's a beautiful little broken shell right there. I mean, they seem so white though. I'm going to have to put something on them, some grunge, so they're not so white. You can use texture paste, any sort of heavy glue. Your glue should be as heavy as your whatever you're gluing down. So that means I would probably use the gel, the soft gel medium from Golden. You'd use hot glue for this, but make sure that you don't have a smooth texture on a smooth texture that you're gluing, because it'll just pop right off. But if it has texture like this, it will stick. Oh yeah, nutmeg would work. Just make sure you put enough layers over it so that that nutmeg ever sort of dissolves or goes away or degrades. You've got enough medium over the top that it holds its shape still. Does that make sense? Look at that little guy. He's cute. I've got some bigger ones here. That one's got some gold paint on it. Yeah, there. Or maybe some that are kind of open this way so that I can put a pearl in them. That would be fun. Maybe not here. That one's too big. I'm going to find some tiny ones here. I do like to put them open like that to add things inside. So I know you've seen projects that I've done in the past like that. Like that one goes perfect right there. Boy, that one's thick and beautiful. It's too big for this though. These are too big. Something like this might go on the neck. As I'm working my way up here. And then these all have holes in them because they're basically for jewelry. Hey, Lisa, you made it. But I just cover that with a bit of, you know, glue or whatever. So it doesn't bother me. Put that there. All right. So I'm going to get my soft gel medium out and start adding these. But that means we're going to have some wet glue. So it's kind of a... maybe I'll use some hot glue for right now, so you guys see, and then I will fiddle with it until they're on there with better glue. So let's see. I gotta plug it in. No heat tool. Thanks for your patience, guys. All right, so we'll paint over the hot glue as well, but I'm thinking that this will be quick so you guys see what I'm doing and where I'm going with this, and I will grunge these up. Oh, I guess I got to plug it in too. Miracle baby, huh? Yeah, I told him you were at a birthday party. Yeah, I hope you had fun. Okay, So I'm going to go grab my pearls real quick. They're just on a shelf right over there because I'm going to be adding those as well. And I might be able to secure them with this inside. I mean, like the pearls. I just hope it dries fast enough. Okay. So I'm just grabbing some here. And I have a lot of little teeny tiny shells in the bucket there. I just, pulled out a handful here and some other weird crumbs. I don't know what. I'll probably get the shells on and then go for the embossing powder technique again around them and kind of, inside of them and let it kind of swirl up the bottle or down. Most likely. I think a pearl goes right there. And possibly in his eyes. Let's see. I need a dish. What's this? Some of these are real, which I'm trying not to use, but it's all from old jewelry. I think my favorite ones are these little golden champagne, sort of brown colored ones. They're so wonderful. Nah, we don't like that. He may or may not get anything in his eye sockets. We'll find out. And then I have these little seeds, and I'm not going to dump those in there. But I think these will be good in some of these little holes. Oh, hey, Jasper. I'm glad you made it. Glad to see you again. I hope it's not a high-end buy like last time. I'm glad you could be here. Okay, so I'm going to, like I said, I'm just using the hot glue. If you guys weren't here, I would use this glue right here. And any, heavy gel medium that you have, or, even modeling paste or whatever would be fine. It's just going to take too long to dry. So I'm going to have to get that out of there so I can glue it. I'm going to have to. So this stuff is really shiny. If I do use this, it's going to have to be in places that is underneath. That's not going to show, or I'm going to have to paint over it. So, because it comes out like glass almost. So let's see what we got here. Is it hot? Yeah, kind of, sort of. So with shells, let's see if we've got enough here. You actually have to, if you're gonna have to fill them up to use them like this. Hopefully. And then I may nest a pearl right there because that hole is there. And then there's a little hole where the barnacles are, the little paper barnacles. So I think a pearl would be great there. And maybe I'll use one of my, these ones, these little champagne ones that I have. I have a really dirty one here. It's got some weird stuff on it. I think it goes there. So I'm just going to try a little dab of this. Like I said, we're just doing this so it's dry. Look at that. Oh, that's fun. And this will get some sea life on it as well. It won't stay so pretty. This one we're going to do upside down. Put a pearl inside. Right there, like that. Hope it sticks. And that's got ridges on it, so it should stick. Texture on texture. And here's another grungy little dirty pearl going inside. This is a hard angle to do this at, guys. Just, there we go. Look at that. I love using pearls. I just love them. They're the jewel I reach for the most. If you find that you have glue where you don't want it, you also can use things like glitter. You can, if you're going for that look, I could go ahead and put a little bit of school glue in there and add some embossing powder, which I may do anyway. And it will also secure everything because it's basically you're melting plastic. And it works like a glue if it's done right. But, I mean, you can cover up a multitude of sins with mixed media. Yeah, the grungier, the better. That is the way to go. I wish you guys could see on camera. It looks slightly washed out, but it has so many colors here. I'll take lots of pictures. Okay, so this one, it's broken, and I'm going to do it upside down so you can see the break, and it's going right here. Not too much glue, but enough to make it stick, please. Oh, it's breaking on me. I'm going to have to stick a pearl there, a tiny little seed pearl, so I can glue that down, cover up the break. It's all, last minute decisions, letting your project tell you what you want. There we go. Come on. Sitting on enough glue. I'm going to have to use some embossing powder on that one. So, did I glue that one down? No. A bit of you. If you have strings in the end, I don't remember which one of you said in a stream one time at night, and I had never even thought about it. I usually sit and pick them all off. A heat gun. Just wave the heat gun over it to get them off. Just not enough to remelt your whatever you've glued down. I always hesitate to use the hot glue because then it feels more like a craft. Oh, you're sorting out your art studio? We were just talking about that. Oh, thanks, Jasper. Yeah, I want to flip mine, and if I'm streaming twice a month and it's every other Saturday, that is not enough time because I'm gonna have to move my computer and everything, and there's no way I could get it done in 2 weeks. I've got too much stuff, and what I'm gonna have to do is box up the other side, move all the stuff I use over to the other side where it's bigger. And the desk is bigger and it's L-shaped and goes all the way to the corner, which this one doesn't. And I have like a gap. There's a lot of dead corners in this room. So I know it's going to take me longer. And I really don't want to do like skip a Saturday so that I can spend a month doing it. But it's almost necessary. I'm maybe come up with another solution when I do that. Maybe pre-make some little videos ahead and do a premiere or something. I think that would work. Yeah, it's a big pain in the butt. I've been needing to do this for a long time, and I have not done it because I knew it was going to be difficult. So I knocked that pearl out. So I've just been like putting up with it. But it's been a dream of mine to change it from one side to the other and basically flip everything over. I'm going to have to touch everything in this room. It's going to be difficult. So I'm going to put a pearl right here. I've got a little gap, and that's fun. Right there. And maybe I need a bigger one right there. Maybe a pearl right here. And these are the seed pearls. They'll get a little grungy. No worries. Maybe a bigger pearl. Do you guys remember that mermaid I did for my sister a few years ago? And I covered that thing with pearls, and it had the statue of the Venus that I had that was broken coming up out of the pearls. I used so many of my pearls on that. Where was I going to put a bigger one? Right here. She loves it, by the way. she does love mermaids. Kind of need another one right there. Be a little bigger or a different color. We're going to go with a different color. I have this gold. Ow. Don't touch the metal part. Don't touch it. What time is it? 2:39. Okay, so I'll probably go back in because I can see my hot glue here, but I know I'm going back in with a little more embossing powder at the very end. It'll probably get down in some of these little holes. Is where I'll put it anyway, and let it, you know, kind of corrode the project. You're learning how to be organized? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Yeah, it was a couple years ago. It was fun. But a lot of pearls. And with each one that I glued on, I was thinking, I hope this isn't a real pearl. I hope this isn't a real pearl. Because I have all this broken jewelry and I just kind of dump it all in jars and, you know, and they're really old. So I told my sister, this is really, when I gave it to her, this is really valuable. It's probably got real pearls on it. And she said, why did you do that? And I said, I don't know. They're all mixed together. It was funny. It's hard to be organized, especially when you have multiple projects going. It's easier if you have a tub and empty bins to put things in for each project. And I always have, a space by my door where I've got empty containers, big and small, all stacked together. So I can do that. So maybe a shell right there. Let's put a shell in there. We're deciding here. Also, these pieces of broken shell are really nice for this because, you know, not every shell is perfect on the bottom of the ocean. So there's a nice tiny one right there. Oh, I love these ones. Maybe this one goes like there. I don't want to, I need it to be more random. These seem kind of spaced out too well. This one definitely needs to go on here though. It almost, I don't know what kind of shell that is, but it comes up to a point. It looks like a volcano. Need it to fit. It kind of fits right there, but is it too much? I think it's too much. I don't like it. It's too much. I think it's going on the other side. Got this little guy right here. Maybe put a few together here. I end up fiddling with things until I like them. So this is why a lot of times these kind of projects are not recorded, because I could record for hours and hours and hours. And what I end up with is too many videos that need to be squished together and edited, and it becomes overwhelming. And then I delete the video. I've done this many times. So oh, yeah, Lexi, keep containers empty and ready to go, and always sort into the, because I do this kind of stuff, I go to the other side of the room and I have all these organized containers with specific things in them, and I will go and dig through all of them, but then I'll end up with a bin that has a mix of everything in it that I thought I may or may not use on a project, and those bins start stacking up because I'll get done with a project, I'll start another one, I'm in a hurry, and I don't sort that one back out. Or I think, oh, maybe I'm not done with that project and I want to add more to it. So I might need those things still. And that's where the problem starts for me. Okay, so let's see. I do want another shell. Another little one. And then I'll put some paint on them, I guess. And we'll see what they're going to look like. Yeah, how about right there? Or right there. Oh. All right. So let me see how they're going to look and what colors I want to kind of add to them. Boy, it's wonderful. I do love it. I'm going to have to add some of these puka shell things too. I don't know where yet. So let's put these back in the container. Over here. Get these off my desk. Coral would be really cool too. If you're going to have like, you know, appendages on your bottle. I need to drink a coffee here. Hold on. Well, let's not spill the pearls, shall we? I already spilled these little things all over my desk from the silica. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. I even tried to use a little vacuum that wouldn't pick them up. That was before I put them in that container. Okay, drink a coffee. Oh, you're eating chocolate chips. I'm on a keto diet, and even the chocolate chips, the sugar-free ones that I got, I am not really supposed to have more than like 10 of them, because then I might blow my carbs for the day. Oh, yeah, I love the way the shells sound too. I have bins and shelves that fit them beautifully, but I keep making up new categories. And oh, Lexi, that sounds so much like me. So much. I keep needing a new category because I have all these experiments that I do for each project, and I end up with all these partially finished things. And those all need to just go in, you know, one container. I have a cart with the 3 shelves because I don't find them very handy, because you can't get to the bottom 2 shelves very easily. But the whole cart is just things with textures on them, like chipboard with texture, like I did for the experiments, like things like this go on there. Things like this go on there. And then I reach for those when I want to make something, you know, like a postcard or a book or whatever. But I have them all standing up, and it is full. And then the bottom shelf or the middle shelf is full of tags that are done, that have been gel printed, but they're kind of halfway finished. And I mean, it's just a whole cart of that stuff. So is everything secure? Yep. I'm going to undo my glue gun here, bring the paint back out. So I say I'm going to collage a box to hold this new project, which makes the bin itself another project. Yeah, I just started using plastic for that. I used to make a specific box for each one, and I stopped doing that. I have too many pretty boxes. I just need to have temporary boxes, and those can be plastic. That's fine. Plastic is good. Not usually, but you know how I feel about plastic, guys, but still. Okay, gonna go to finger painting again. And I already have this paint right here on the palette. So I'm just gonna play with this paint and see how it looks. So maybe add some grunge to these. Pick up their texture. And I am going to be using some embossing powder on them. So just here and there. And that's not really, I mean, it's pearly, but what I need is, I could do pearl on these. Oh, I need a brush. I need like a little tiny stencil brush, I think. This one right here. Hot glue. So just color, grunging it up. Got a little cream, got a little brown. Wax on, wax off. Make them not too perfect. There. That's better. My pearls can be, but not the shells, maybe. And then back with the white. Sorry, guys, I'm in the zone. Like it's saying, I mean. I'd love to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a Coke. Tuna, lemon, pepper. Oh, the packs that come like that, those are really good, actually, just to eat right out of the bag. Oh, Jasper, the empty boxes are ridiculous because you get things in boxes and you're like, wow, this is a really good box. I can't throw this away. So I end up with stacks of boxes and stacks of bins from the Dollar Tree. And I definitely have enough containers. But I still love containers. I still find containers that I'm like, oh, I've got to have that. You know, like the thrift store or whatever. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Cheap plastic paper trays from Target. You know, trays are my favorite, actually. I love a tray. I love old trays, old metal trays, although they're shiny when I have them on my desk for the camera. I use them more often than you guys see because, you know, in the camera they're shiny. So I usually have to like put a doily on them or something. I am going to take away a little bit of the shine on these pearls too, some of them, because they're so perfect. Too perfect, in fact. You did that with heat gun. It's got a little bit of hot glue hanging out on it. Where is it? Just for a second. Tracy, that song is from a Coca-Cola commercial. Hold on just a sec. Getting rid of the little stringy bits from the heat. Hold on. From the hot glue. Go away. Is it not heated up yet? There we go. Sorry. It's just I'm painting them and it's not cool. Okay. Sorry about that. I was thinking this was going to need a lot more layering, but I'm kind of happy with that. And that's only 2 colors, really. Well, I guess it's 3. It's kind of 2 different colors of green, and then I dry brushed because I had the copper on my plate or on my palette here. Interesting. So they're not perfect now. Not shiny white. This one's still got some on it that I don't like. There we go. Then I'm going to go ahead and take this white that I have and touch up a few of these barnacles. Really, this has come together pretty quickly. And I had to sit on my hands not to work on it some more in between. Like I told you guys to go as far as the gesso. And then we would, you know, do the next steps. And I had a hard time, you know, doing that. But I did it until this morning when I did the heat embossing because I knew that we were going to have the heat gun on and I couldn't do that on camera. I needed to tell you guys kind of how that worked with the glue. I'll show you. It's just because I have the white on my palette. This sort of beachcomber beige. I don't think these ones got browned first. I think they're black still. I could still go over them with a little bit of brown. I do have that on my palette. Just getting the edges. This probably isn't very exciting to watch. Boy, I love those. And we have 7 minutes left. So maybe I should go through and ask everyone if they haven't left a thumbs up to go ahead and hit that and the notification bell when you subscribe so that you know when we're doing fun projects like this again. I'm going to use my fingers here. So I'm just going to add some more. You know, the lid would have been a great thing to practice, you know, my color story on as well. I'm just adding some of this and that here because it's on my palette to see how it looks. Probably should it's got styrofoam under the tape. So, and this, so I'm going to be real careful with the heat gun here, but I'm probably going to put a little bit of the sandy texture on here as well. Oh, look at that. It's so fun. Still have some of this brown on my plate or on my palette here. Let's pull up that texture a little bit, just here and there. There's no really, I mean, there's so many colors here, but it doesn't look like a big color mess, I don't think. It's working. They all kind of, you know, I chose a color story and went with it. It does look like sand. Let's pull up these textures a little bit better. Right here. Here. This needs some love, this one. I need to grunge this up. Put some sand in it and, you know. I could be using sand too. I do have sand. And once again, this is that pearly brown. Making sure that, oh, 2 times, now I'm behind. Oh, yeah, you know, a lot of times, I recommend you make me a chipmunk. Do it. Make me a chipmunk. I don't care. If you watch it on replay, speed it up a little. I do talk fast already. It might be like a whirlwind, but that's how I have time sometimes to even watch a live stream, because they are 2 hours long. And if you're not there in person, it's a little bit different. So I understand that. I do. I totally get it. So speed me up, make me a chipmunk, you know. I'm glad you're watching at any speed. So I really appreciate each and every one of you. One day Minglet will provide a studio tour. It's super cool. You could have a job with the art. Oh, you know, Jasper, I used to do, I was the assistant to the theater director in college, because I was the art student that he would come to with questions. And then he finally had me write my own syllabus and be on hand to direct the, you know, people that built the sets and do the things like this. I always felt like when I watched Star Trek that I'm watching Star Trek, but I'm looking at the set more than anything. And I will say, oh man, I bet that set was really fun to make. Like, I love carving styrofoam and painting it and giving it new textures and using different sort of expanding foam and all kinds of weird stuff to make something look like something else from the audience, you know. And I tease that I can make anything look like anything, but that's only from the audience's distance, you know. It is a lot of fun though. It really is. Yeah, Estella, that's usually what I do. If they talk fast, I'll go at 1.25, but usually I watch videos at 1.5. That is, yeah. I always thought I should have been a set designer. As an adult, I started thinking that. As a child, I wanted to be a fashion designer. That's it. Now I couldn't care less. You know? Yep. So, oh yeah. Well, it's all just trial and error, Jasper. It really is. It's like what I love looking deeply at things and wondering, how did they do that? And trying to figure it out along the way. Maybe not with the same supplies and tools, but I still figured it out, you know? And I let it guide me, and I'll come up with something slightly different, but I love it. And it is a lot of fun. So, and thanks for letting me get in the zone here, guys. And I hope I didn't miss any comments. Thank you for being here and being a part of my art studio world. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that. Yeah, it would have been fun to create all those sets. It really would. That's why we love making costumes, really. Like with all the weird stuff. Weird costumes too, you know. Like I was Medusa one year and I had like a 20-pound headdress that I made out of rubber snakes. Thank you so much. Well, you guys have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. that is. And I will take lots of pictures of this when I'm done with it. I am going to be adding a few more things to it. Embossing powder, a few more pearls, a few more shells, probably a little bit of a minty white color, just a tiny bit on the corroded parts. And I will share with you when it's done. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I can't find my mouse right now. So there we go. It's not connected. Oh, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. And thank you for leaving a comment as well. Bye.